Yeah, he's.
I even dug down here.
I didn't even know about him.
I dug down right. Kinds of vault. Even a cement block, that's called a vault if you want a cement block.
Right.
Right.
So I even dug down here like 2 feet and then used my 2.5 foot probe and still can't find any vault. So Mr. John must have buried her here back in 1912. He didn't have to have a vault.
You don't think because he died after her.
Yeah.
So maybe she's underneath him.
No, I don't think so. The water table is too high here to bury them over top of each other.
Okay.
The water table is too high.
Right.
So they have to be next to each other, but we're not sure. Is she over here, you think?
No, no, she's not there. Jimmy's father's right there. So she's got to be here.
Okay.
Because there's a grave site. I'm sure he put all three together here.
Right.
He can go here, or he can go this way at the foot of his father and his grandfather and grandmother. Whichever way you want.
Flower. That one is that one.
Dad's brother.
Let's go. Come on.
And Bertha didn't have any children, did she?
Right.
No,
Bertha, there were 2 sisters and a brother. There's Bertha and Avis, his mother, and our grandfather, James T. McGonigal. James T. McGonigal was the brother of the 2 sisters.
Yeah.
Bertha didn't have any children, and Avis had. Yeah. Now you've got your other brothers besides Johnny. And the brother that died, Donald.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a wonderful man. And their kids, they live in Texas now, right?
He had 4 girls, and my other brother John that's helping me with this. He has 4 boys.
Has 4 boys.
And
Dad had 4 boys and 2 girls, you know.
And Donald had 4 girls.
Right.
And they live in Texas, and they have. I can't keep up with it. All the girls have kids, and I can't keep up with it.
How far from Austin do
They live in 20 miles from San Antonio north, in the hill country. They live in Kerrville, Texas.
Okay, because my daughter lives in Austin.
Mm-hmm. They live in Kerrville, and it's close to Kerrville Small.
Right.
It's close to a little.
But they all live around the same area, the 4 girls.
Yeah.
I remember
now,
there were
one girl moved up to Austin, I think. And one girl moved up near.
I gotta find her on the Facebook. I bet you they got Facebook pages.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I just don't. They still have the finger last name because they're all married.
Go ahead, come here.
So
Kids,
we're in Austin.
please. You're doing so good.
I would love to see her. I love Don. Oh, excuse me, honey. I'm sorry.
Look at this.
Okay, so we're straight there. If I find something when I dig with the. I was in there twice, and then it was rebuilt. It was built in 1771 and rebuilt in
100 years later.
100 years later, and was destroyed by the storm
in 1942.
I thought 48 was 42. Yeah. And then this one got destroyed, and I had it redone. All I put on it was the 2 gates. I did keep the cornerstone out. It didn't break it. It didn't break this. Well, that was cut right near. So it must have knocked the whole. I had a guy rebuilt it because the bus came right through. Yeah, the boys in the car were. Nobody on the bus was killed. The bus loaded migrant workers. Nobody on the bus was killed, but the boys that came out that road without stopping, yeah, they got killed.
Oh, it's terrible. That's terrible. Well, we better get going.
Yeah, I told him when you go straight out here to and after you go through stuff, go through the town slow because it's cops.
Right.
And when you get to 301, you have to turn right a little bit, go down there about southeast, and then turn left to go.
Okay.
Change the
So we're going to
Big grain place right up there, right? Little grain out.
How far
You'll go right out of it.
That's why we are driving. Oh, I can see this.
You have had such a good time today, huh? Did you get to run around, flying? You chase you around? Steve Green. All those years, what happened to Janet? They don't know. And just a year ago when we had our reunion, I asked him, and he said their whole family just has no idea.
I think maybe a year or two. So
These were all apartments. This was a house, and these were all apartments on a hill. Not these kind of apartments, old apartments.
my God.
Unbelievable. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I lived right up there on the left. Buzz, 1934 North 15th Street. The house faced that way. And there were 3 houses across the street and an open field where everyone played baseball. And there were nothing but apartments that went all the way up Taft Street. My house faced this way. And there were nothing but houses all down here. And there was an apartment house right here. And nothing but houses up this street and a bank. And the bank parking lot, underground garage is still there that we used to play, we used to roller skate in.
Whoa.
Watch out. And there was no sidewalk here, so all the kids would walk across that street on the way to school, because we all went to Wilson Elementary School. When Robin was little, and her high school picture, and there's her high school picture up.
It's supposed to be these drawstrings. Are there any drawstrings on them?
Yeah.
That's what you tie them with.
Okay.
Cardiologist, internist, surgery,
I think this is what Janie did for a
Surgery.
while. She did medical billing.
patient billing. And then I found a job that I stayed with for 4 years in a cardiology office, and I was a biller. I liked that. I liked giving Medicare holy hell. I'd call them up and I'd raise all damn kinds of hell with them, and or his legs.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
And I looked at the bill and saw that this insurance company hadn't paid the first section for it. So I called them up and I asked the man on the phone when he answered. I said, have you ever seen this man that I'm billing for? I said, he's in a wheelchair, no use of arms, no use of legs. He says, well, I think I've got the bill on the bottom of my pile. I said, well, I suggest you pull that bill out from the bottom of your pile, and you best damn ass sight get it on top of your pile, because the next time I call your office, you're not going to like it.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Oh, I love giving people hell.
Love it.
I never got ulcers because I always said what I wanted to say.
Throw them out. Just put them on the back porch. Put it on. And the scissors. That in the trunk, they don't build. That's all I know.
Take a picture, 2 of these next year.
Totally no, totally no. Remember when we came down at that craft feast that time?
Yeah.
That place?
I know, I've met.
Hey guys.
Familiar. Cute camera.
This is a nice camera, actually.
Yeah, like it.
You can take pictures underwater. Really nice pictures.
This is the other opposite window.
Wow. That's awesome. I like the color too. It's a nice camera.
You know, sooner or later he's tired of being tired. So.
When I talked to him first, it was very good here because he doesn't look like him someday. Remember I told you that?
That was around. That's the pre-season. No, but that's how you get that.
I was driving down the road. I was so mad. I
Now
was
they
so
have
pissed off.
entry tournaments to get early. Well, I had to get entry into that tournament. Oh, wow. They had like 4
How can he piss you off? He's only afraid you got.
Took up a whole page. I thought maybe I should just read it myself. Yeah, so I had some time yesterday to think about Dad, my feelings about Dad, and my feeling is that Dad was a real character. And like all real characters, he's not easy to file under one of the typical labels that people use to categorize each other in these situations. Dad doesn't fit nicely into the category of he was an awesome dad, or the category he was always there when I needed him. And you know, I'm just talking about my own feelings. Everybody can speak for themselves, but
and there was a gentleman by the name of Fritz Kreisler who walked into this violin owner's shop. And he looked upon the wall, and there was an old, dusty violin. It didn't look like much at all. The bow was still with the violin. And he looks around at the other violins in the shop, and his attention kept going back to that violin that was on the wall. And he says, I want to see that violin.
Are you going to be called now? Okay.
Pat, you gonna hold on to that book?
Yeah, Liam and Liam and the cousin are going to carry it. Along with Pam. Yeah. So, 3 Pam. Actually, I'll go. can have all there, just meet us in front of the double doors, we're gonna come right to it.
Oh, did you get a picture of just this? You just get a picture of the flag?
Did I get a picture of y'all standing behind me?